guys, some Formula 3.5 Renault at Rouen les Essarts, the short version variant. We're going to be carrying about 44 liters of fuel, and we're starting on pole, and that could change a little bit just because driving from pole to race finish is probably going to be very boring. So we're going to see how we can shape this up to be a little bit more of a race. Because I did not mean to qualify first, it kind of just happened while I was trying to find the setup.
Get ready.
Oh shit, I'm not in first.
Green, green, green. Clear left. Car right. Clear right.
Go ahead. Everyone go ahead. Go in front.
Clear right. On the right. Clear right. Car right. Clear right.
Having a DRS issue.
Side's clear. On the right. Clear right.
Okay, so now we can get to racing and kind of give a demo on how this track works. So hairpin, the AI usually bottleneck up in, and this car is really twitchy through the second sector. Took me a while to find the setup. I then defaulted to go with softer springs so I can get into this section, but I also had to increase the roll bars so it wouldn't kind of lean too much into the corner, even though it does, as you've seen there. This car is by no means easy to drive, even though I've put a setup on it. It's just a lot more predictable, and not going to be pulling my hair out trying to catch up to the cars in front. Whoa! A lot of oversteer there. So far, I'm liking this track, but it doesn't seem... It seems like the car fits this track, but at the same time, it doesn't. We're going to be refraining from using DRS until either the third lap or we get close enough to someone in the grace period for the DRS, and that car is going really slowly. We seem to be a hell of a lot faster in Sector 1 than the AI cars, so the closing rates are going to get a little ridiculous, but
Left side.
like that.
Clear left.
Seems like we're right behind our either our teammate or somebody else, but they're rocking a blue car, and we're rocking a blue car, so we're just going to try and keep in touch with 8 plates. This is a 20-minute race, so we do have quite a bit of time. Lose the rear end coming out of that corner. That corner is very difficult in this car. To anyone who's done this car track combination already, it's a real pain without the right settings. I still haven't found the anywhere near the perfect setup for this track, but the car's drivable now, so I can at least thank myself for that. Those 2 corners, though, the hairpin in Sector 2 and that one going into Sector 3 is a nightmare in this car. It just wants to keep snapping, so. We're on lap 2. We still can't use DRS, but got some decent exit speed. We're catching to the back of Jordi Carrera really quickly. But the AI tend to be rather aggressive on the defense side of it, as you can see Jordi right there. Still side by side. I'm just going to give him the place just to save my own hide. As he slows up coming out of the corner, that's one thing I don't like about the AI on this track. And they also try to close up in that braking zone, but when they're in clear air, they're kind of slower, which doesn't seem to make much sense, but I digress. Here, I haven't really found... Actually, never mind. You can take that in 6th. I usually take it in 5th, but Everyone has their own way. Taking that in third is a little bit of a hazard, and taking that corner flat out is also a hazard. Taking this corner flat out is a hazard as well. It just seems like second sector is full of corners with really awkward bumps. Really awkward bumps. A lot of anti-camber at the top of the corners. But a lot of high-speed sections on this track. Very fun to drive. Very nice to look at the sights. I'm just going to slow it down so we can get an exit. We're in P3. We're on lap 3. We're in P7.
Apexes and exits. Apexes and exits.
We're about a second and a half behind.
Ahead is now 5 seconds.
As our crew chief is talking our ear off, we're about a second and a half behind. That's closing fairly rapidly. We're now within a second, so we're in DRS range, but there's only one DRS zone that I've predetermined on this track, and thank you for the free place. A little bit of a dive bomb, but that's a way to get a pass done. If you don't try to outbrake them into that corner, they just cause a pileup. It's not a good thing to see. Here, I just generally take second because it's safer with the settings I have on the car. With the old setup, I used to use third. And speaking with old setups and settings, the AI right now are at 80%. And they're a little bit too bold for my liking, but they're kind of somewhat believable if you drive right after a qualifying session or a practice session. They seem to be, well, not even a practice session, just the qualifying sessions. They seem to be a little bit more rounded out in terms of pace, and they're not too slow. I've had to kind of redo this multiple times, mainly because either I would crash or the AI would do something like drop a ton of speed out of a corner. And there's not really much of a way to deal with that on this track, especially when you're so close to the high-speed section. So, like here, the AI drop a lot of speed and I end up having to lift because they want to come back over. And in this brake zone, they brake relatively early. Or really, I think it's really the braking zone for the AI is just so much shorter that you just get caught out by it. Right now, we're in P6, and we're going to see if we can try and make it back up to pole where we started, but we handed over position just to make this video a little more interesting. It's not really fun watching me dominate the race the whole day. Got about 12 minutes left, and an oversteer moment later. But if you get a semi-good exit out of there, you can catch up by quite a bit in this section. We have DRS since it's lap 5, and we're within a second, and we're just gonna clear him like it was nothing. And we're going to see if we can catch up to the cars ahead. I can't really change gear ratios in this car, so I'm kind of stuck with the default ratios, which aren't too bad. They're just not the ones I would have chosen. And since the AI kind of cut back over to get into the braking zone, kind of screws with the front end, and I can't really get all the braking that I want done. So we're going to coast through this corner, slowly get back on the power. A little bit of coasting action there. It'd be very ambitious to attempt to get a pass done before that corner, especially with AI, because they like to turn in early. So we're in 5th position. And this AI is doing really good at defending. But we have DRS out of the final corner. So let's see what we can get it done. Can we get it done?
Clear left. Before the gap to or in front is now 0.3 seconds. The gap behind is now.
Yes, we can, but we can't get ahead of the Fanatec car in front. The guy behind's really sticking to us, and we can't eke out a gap because we're getting held up by the Renault Sport Fanatec car.